For proper cuff placement, the cuff should cover 80% of the circumference of the arm. The bulb will be squeezed until reaching the value of 180 millimeters of mercury. As for the valve, it is twisted to the right. The rate the pressure should be released is at 250 milliliters of mercury. Prior to taking the blood pressure of an individual, a person should rest for 5 minutes. The individual should not have caffeine and nicotine 30 minutes before taking the blood pressure. Measurements will be taken on bare arm. Feet will be uncrossed, planted on the floor, with back supported and arms placed at heart level. Lastly, to make sure the individual has a proper cuff size, the cuff size should cover 80% of the arm circumference, as mentioned previously. When placing the stethoscope in, the direction of the prongs are to face away or outward from the person taking the blood pressure. The diaphragm should be placed on the brachial artery. To find the brachial artery, it is located on the side of the pinky. The sound you'll hear is a thump-like sound. The first sound heard is a systolic, and the last sound, which will be much more faint, is a diastolic. This will also be a sound of a thump. Here we have a chart to display the values of normotensive, prehypertensive, and hypertensive. Normal values will be less than 120 milliliters of mercury for the systolic and less than 80 milliliters of mercury for the diastolic blood pressure. For prehypertensive, it'll range from 120 to 139 milliliters of mercury for the systolic and range from 80 to 89 for the diastolic blood pressure. For stage 1 hypertension, it'll range from 140 to 159 for the systolic blood pressure and range from 90 to 99 for the diastolic blood pressure. And finally, stage 2 hypertension, it'll be greater than and or equal to 160 milliliters of mercury and greater than or equal to 100 milliliters of mercury for the diastolic blood pressure.